No city on Earth has made such a difference in the world's identity as London. This busy, self-assured city has an extraordinary tale to tell. London is a treasure trove of archaeological sites, holding secrets in the famous Thames River, where some of the deepest mysteries lie hidden. Imagine if we could drain the river and unlock its secrets. The whole bed of the river would unfold a secret world. Thanks to accurate data and revolutionary technology, it is now possible to shed light on this forgotten history. This time, we explore one of the world's most dangerous shipwrecks. Could these centuries-old remnants tell tales of London's pirate past? The violent pursuits of pirates and their close advisors went with this perilous trade. A single explosion obliterated one of London's best-loved ships in a dramatic chapter in history. London, steeped in tradition and history, has transformed into a global hub for tourism, fashion, music, and commerce. Its population of 8 million is characterized by its uniqueness and attitude. The Thames River is at the heart of London's story, an integral part of its history. Without the Thames, London might not exist. For thousands of years, people have lived along its banks. But how did London become a city? Can this be found in ancient ruins? Recent excavation in London's financial district has unearthed astonishing discoveries. Workers digging foundations uncovered artifacts, which prompted the involvement of lead archaeologist Gustav Milne. His team unearthed remarkable findings, including ancient timbers, thought to be part of a 7-foot-high Roman wall. It is evidence that gives so few glimpses into what London was like during Roman times, including the port of the city. The port, dating back to the 1st century AD, was a vital growth point for London. Situated along the northern shore of the Thames, it was a hub where ships from all over the world unloaded goods into large stone warehouses. These activities made Roman London a major trading hub, thus making it strong, in status, and prosperous. With techniques such as dendrochronology, scientists were able to date the wooden structures to 2,000 years ago, and their origins were directly linked to the expansion of Rome into Britain. There were roads to the banks of the river, and possibly to an ancient Roman bridge. The findings lead to a series of conclusions about how London evolved from a riverside settlement into a bustling Roman metropolis. The Thames not only shaped the geography of London, but also the history of the city. Beneath the city, archaeologists continue to uncover more and more of London's buried secrets as they piece together this extraordinary evolution from ancient times to the global center it is today. Here is a restatement of the given text in English. The 20-foot-wide superstructure is supported by 20 massive timber piers, whose foundation resembles what Gustav's team encountered. No similar structure was built in Roman Britain. This is a marvel of ancient engineering. Just as it was the case in the Roman era, teams are today working along the Thames River that still serves as a lifeline for London's transport. 32 kilometers from the city, the estuary of the Thames sees intense shipping activity. Each year, giant ships cross the turbulent, choppy waters, carrying 50 million tons of cargo. In 2003, a PLA survey vessel found an enigmatic object in the Princess Channel. Preliminary scans revealed it was a shipwreck and artificial structure buried underwater. This discovery led to further research efforts, with archaeologist Jens Wauer joining in. Jens remembers his first dive was confusing. The visibility was poor, and there was scattered timber and metal fragments around. Despite the challenging conditions, Jens was able to determine that the wreck was ancient. Through advanced dive survey data and computer software, the team recreated the scene. It turned out to be an 80-foot-long timber structure, partially buried in the sand. Experts dated the design and construction techniques to the 16th century. This period belonged to the Tudor dynasty in England, characterized by an increase in prosperity and an ambition to explore the world. This enigmatic wreck held secrets of that time. Amidst the wreckage, prominent artifacts such as tin, lead ingots, and iron bars were discovered, indicating that it was a merchant ship. But closer inspection revealed something more. It was not an ordinary trading ship. Cannons and a gun port were found nearby, bearing the initials TG and a grasshopper symbol. Research revealed that the initials belonged to Sir Thomas Gresham, a renowned financier and merchant of the 16th century. In 1566, Gresham founded England's first trading center, the Royal Exchange, a monumental achievement inaugurated by Queen Elizabeth. Detailed analysis showed that this merchant vessel, measuring 115 feet long and weighing 200 tons, was carrying over 12 cannons. But why should a trading ship be armed? It reflects the harsh realities of London's rise to power. Many 16th century English ships were dual-purpose, part-time privateers. Privateers, sponsored by Queen Elizabeth and her advisors, raided Spanish galleons carrying treasure from the Caribbean. These sea dogs, among them Sir Francis Drake, raked in huge profits for their investors and the crown, equivalent to billions in today's currency. In 2005, another PLA survey ship found a wreck site 64 kilometers from London in the Thames estuary. Archaeologists Alison James and diver Steve Ellis examined the wreck to evaluate its historical significance. They used side-scan sonar to assemble the underwater mystery. Large timbers pieces, cannonballs, personal effects, the sailor's clay pipe, the navigation divider were all found amidst poor visibility and strong currents. It's through these fragments that researchers piece together the history of the ship. This site, still a puzzle, poses tough challenges, but yields rewards each time a clue is followed in the understanding of the maritime relic. Looking at the water of the estuary, we again see remnants of an old wooden ship. A section about 65 feet long is partially buried under some smooth soil. At one time, this was a large ship, but now only its fragments remain, especially in the main section. Items like shoes, books, a sundial, and a compass suggest that the passengers and crew had very little time to escape. Experts are now examining relics found at the riverbed to identify debris. There are cannonballs all undergoing forensic analysis. One of the most solid pieces of evidence is a pair of leather shoes. We have several pairs of similar style, which were popular in the 17th century. Finding a 17th century ship at the bottom of the sea is truly remarkable. There are records that indicate that a warship, fully armed, sank in this area in the 17th century. The name of the ship was the London. It is the only ship of that size and scale from that time period found here. During the mid-17th century, England spent heavily upon its navy in securing the routes for trades. If it were a nation that aspired to surpass all others, its maritime capability had to be upgraded. That is why the London A warship in the period was so constructed in order to burst into the wars and destroy the enemies. In what way, then, did so powerful a vessel come to rest at the bottom of the estuary? The wreckage is spread all over the seabed. A part of the ship and few cannons were found 1,300 feet away from the principal wreck. Evidently, a major disaster occurred. The state of the ship was so bad that it was recorded in the diaries of Admiral Secretary Samuel Pepys, who wrote, "This morning I heard bad news of the London, which was bringing men back from Chatham when suddenly an explosion occurred. Around 24 men and 1 woman were rescued from the roundhouse and coach, but over 300 people drowned." The probable cause of the destruction of the ship was an explosion. The London was preparing for battle in the mid-17th century when England and Holland were at war, and this explosion happened. Archaeologists are trying to uncover the cause of the explosion by studying the wreckage. A small section of the ship contains evidence that the ship was not fully ready for battle. Some evidence had such equipment as breaching ropes, handspikes, that in turn had to be near the guns, yet were found in a space that may have been only in a small storage room. This implies that the ship hadn't prepared for combat. After the loss of the London, the Royal Navy made significant improvements in the strategy, tactics, and equipment. Thus, it came to form a more professional force. The Navy became one of the most formidable military forces at sea, leading to the creation of the British Empire. By 1840, London was the biggest and most powerful city in the world, with its influence spanning across this world. Not very far away from here is another ship, this time a shipwreck from World War II posing a danger still. As a naval architect, all his life studying ships, there has never been something as threatening as this wreck to come his way, according to Dr. Nick Bradbeer. As I view, 3 masts appear to surface above the waves. There seems to be a half-submerged ship in the Thames estuary. It is always checked out by CCTV to prevent possible collisions. This is actually a cargo ship known as the SS Richard Montgomery, which sank during the wartime and has been filled up with around 1,400 tons of explosives, such as bombs and cluster bombs. Even today, it is one of the most dangerous wrecks in British waters. The wreck is just 2.5 kilometers from the shore and 6 kilometers from a major natural gas terminal, thus posing a potential threat to a large non-nuclear explosion. This is the reason why people have abandoned the nearby island. In 1944, similar Liberty ships exploded, leading to significant loss of life. But the risk from Montgomery is far greater. The ship's wreckage remains a ticking time bomb, and experts are still unsure of how to safely deal with it. The British government has implemented policies to avoid any direct contact with the wreck, but future actions remain uncertain. For now, the wreck remains closely monitored to prevent any disaster. The story of London is one of bloodshed, looting, and unrelenting ambition. But the people have always carried the city forward, continuing to build the world they created.